me tell you about a friend. It's Craig LeBlanc where the good times never end. Talking Parks and Rec, it's a show you gotta know. Welcome one and all to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. It's the Daily Parks and Rec Show.
Value them. I mean, sometimes that's what they're looking for, right? Yeah, the money is important. I know, sometimes we're not paid well enough. Other than the money, I think the survey would say they want to belong. They want their voices to be heard. They want you to say, hey, I value you. I see you and you're doing a great job. And again, open the door for them, right? If you're doing a project, Greg, allow them to be part of it. Make them feel like they belong because they belong, right? They're taking care of this project. Open some training for them so they can be better for themselves. Not only, for the job, but for themselves, make them feel valuable.
Welcome back to the Daily Parks and Rec Show Leadership Series, where we shine a light on the voices shaping the future of our communities. Today, we're joined by an incredible leader, Josh Altidor, General Superintendent for the City of Boston. From his roots in Haiti, where he developed a passion for agriculture and nature, to designing award-winning landscapes like the iconic Boston Public Garden, Josh has transformed green spaces into living works of art. His story is one of resilience, vision, and community. From building sustainable urban agriculture to championing employee retention and equity in parks. In this conversation, Josh shares how parks can become more than just open spaces. They can be classrooms, community hubs, and even solutions for climate resilience. Get ready to be inspired by a leader whose mission is to ensure every neighborhood has access to beauty, safety, and belonging in their parks. Let's dive in. All right, so we are live again for Happy Labor Day to everyone that's celebrating. And this is Craig LeBlanc with the Daily Parks and Rec Show with a special guest from Boston, originally from Haiti. And but now I think how long have you been with us stateside?
Man, I've been in America for about 20 plus years now.
Oh yeah,
in Boston for like 15 in Boston. So
yeah, fantastic. Okay, so we'll go ahead and play our little thank you video to everyone. This is our. I think this will be the last week we're able to play this because we've got a replacer for it that's going to be really good. So we'll play this and we'll come right back. From a simple mic in a rec center to a full-scale media company for the people who power our parks. 200 real stories, 5 original shows, and more to come, with one powerful mission: to lift up the voices of parks and rec professionals across the country. From maintenance crews and young interns and youths who love sports, to directors and public servants making a difference. We've built a platform that honors the unsung heroes behind every clean trail, every weekend tournament, every safe, welcoming park. This milestone isn't just about the content, it's about the people, the passion, the purpose. To every guest, listener, and supporter, thank you. The next chapter starts today. This is DPRS Media Co. Media for public service. All right. So after we've built out 6 shows for the Daily Parks and Rec Show for the Parks and Rec industry, we are in the process of building out our next 12 shows, and we are searching for strategic partners that have been serving the Parks and Rec industry for decades, that serve the whole country, to help us co-create other very nuanced, specific shows, such as urban forestry or what's that thing that you started? It was the garden. What's it called?
I do a wild ones, which is a native plant regional designer for wild ones.
But that thing you were kind of famous for, that big, not an urban garden. What am I thinking? Botanical garden or what?
Botanical garden, yes.
Yes.
The Boston, the Boston Public Garden. So I've designed that for about 5-6 years.
Yeah,
and it was featured on the Boston Globe back in 2015. Yeah. That's the one.
So we're looking to create weekly or monthly shows on all the different specific nuanced topics of Parks and Rec, but we want to partner with people who kind of serve that in a vendor capacity that helps cities bring all this this value to their communities. And so we made a short little promo for those, kind of giving people an idea of what we're thinking. And so I'm going to play that real quick, and then we'll come start our discussion with Josh.
Are you a vendor, brand, or service provider ready to connect with the heartbeat of local communities? At DPRS Media Co., we tell the stories shaping parks and recreation across America. Through podcasts, live streams, videos, and newsletters, we reach frontline leaders, city directors, and decision makers every single week. From youth sports and facilities to programming and policy, our audience is your audience. Sponsoring or partnering with DPRS Media Co. puts your brand in front of the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. Launching a new product, growing your presence in public spaces, targeting cities, counties, or departments, DPRS is your trusted media partner. Whether you're in software, turf, aquatics, robotics, smart cities, or special events, partnering with DPRS puts your brand in the story. With commercials, interviews, social campaigns, newsletters, and live shows, we're your media team. Partner with us and grow your impact in the $200 billion parks and rec industry. DPRS Media Co. Stories that move parks and rec forward. Your audience is here. Let's meet them.
All right. So if that sounds like something that you're doing and you'd love to help us co-create channels for the Parks and Rec industry, you can find me on LinkedIn, and let's start the discussion. All right. So Josh, let's start back to your early childhood, which really kind of brought you into what you do today. You had mentioned that you kind of grew up on a farm among nature and native plants and growing things, and now you've kind of come full circle, start that journey into bringing that kind of gifts and talents into what you do today. But what was your childhood like growing up?
Childhood was really good. I grew up in Haiti, amongst nature, fruit trees and vegetables. So you don't have to worry about any, pesticide or chemical and whatnot. So we couldn't afford that. I developed a passion for agriculture first from my dad, because he was a farmer by trade. He used to grow rice and taro and cassava, you name it, everything to eat. So we've been fed from the earth. Then from there, I went to university, and I have a bachelor in environmental sciences and horticulture. So I developed that big and huge passion for flowers. Not only flowers, but still have that background in environmental sciences, protection, erosion control and whatnot. But my love just grew up for plants and design and horticulture, you name it, even vegetable garden until today. Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like back in the day, everybody's trying to get off the farm into the city. And now it's almost like the population's trying to get back into that, in touch with nature, organic stuff, farm to table. It's almost like the pendulum swinging back into how you grew up.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I've seen, since COVID, people just want to go their own things, because, the world is so uncertain right now. You don't know what you're eating. You teach your kid, vegetables don't come from a can, you grow it from the earth. So I see, even my kids, we're growing our own stuff together. I have my friends from Louisiana, as a matter of fact. Her son is 5 years old. He's interested in growing stuff, planting seeds and whatnot. So right now, we do have people, though, urban agriculture is booming, everywhere you are in America. So urban gardening it's just growing faster than any other time in history right now.
Yeah, and we're starting to see farmers markets just become regular things. It seems like, and a lot of parks and rec departments run the farmers markets. And I go shopping at a farmer's market once or twice a week to get all my beef from the guy that raised the cows and vegetables from the farmers that raised the vegetables.
It's good. It's good to support the local market and local community. Because where it's come from, and you can eat that at ease. So one thing that we're doing sometime in our parks is slowly introducing urban agriculture or community garden in some of our parks. maybe it's not for every park in America, but if you can slowly introduce a piece of the parks, if you have a big parcel, then that can be for a community garden. I think it's very important. Yeah.
Now, have y'all done that in Boston at all yet? Or do you have community gardens?
We do have a few parks that linked to community garden. Yes, we do have that over here. And
Yeah.
one of the first community garden, I don't know if it's the first one in America, but back in World War One, 1939, we do have one that's still here at the Back Bay fence, one of the biggest community garden we have in Boston today. So, and it's still thriving. So people still there every day, they have the parcels, they take care of it. So, which is good. So one of the biggest things that, I think we should think about is to have edible landscape. So how can we eat from the landscape that we're producing every day? The plants, the flowers, whatnot. So all of those things, they're still edible today. So how can we, benefit from those as well?
Yeah. Yeah. I have a little, I grew up, my grandmother was an avid gardener. And so now today I have a compost pile that feeds my garden, and probably half of my trash, it goes into the compost pile, the eggshells, the potato peelings, the coffee grounds, and all that goes back. It didn't go into the trash can, goes into the garden.
That's good. That's good. Not only you taking from the earth, you give back. Hey,
right.
There you go, Greg. Here we go. Way to go, man.
That's right.
Way to go. I have some chicken in my backyard. So my chicken, thing, they go back in my garden every year. Used to has, composting and whatnot. So I turn that into my soil. So I've been getting some good vegetable in my backyard, thanks to my chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to call my chickens. I need to get some more. I had some at my previous home. We had like 30 of them right in the middle of the city. And we would kind of buy off the neighbors from ratting us out with eggs.
I do the same thing. Don't feel bad. I do the same thing.
But they're like little soil engineers. They take soil and they just pack it full of nutrients. You throw that into the garden. I love chickens. They're the best.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I brought my neighbors with some fresh eggs. You can't buy that from the store. So it's just fresh, organic. So I do the same thing.
All right. So now, did you go? How did you come into Haiti and into Boston? Did you get straight into the botanical garden? Or maybe let's talk about those first few years into Parks and Recreation.
So from Haiti, I had an internship opportunity back in Ohio. I went to Toledo, Ohio. So I had an internship, a non-paid internship. That's all I needed to get the door open. So I went to that place. Again, that's where my first love come for urban agriculture and farming and horticulture and all that, all the green industry, as a matter of fact. So I did that for 6 months. Then I went back to Haiti to finish my studies. Then I did go back to Toledo Botanical Garden. That's when I first exposed to Botanical Garden and the beauty of the landscape and the way people embrace nature altogether. That's like, there's a sense of purpose and belonging. So people take that, very, very seriously. And my job was to maintain on the whole ground, whether it's from the greenhouse to overseeing the volunteer every Tuesday and Thursdays, and then, designing some of those beds in the botanical garden, even overseeing the rose garden. So I was, one-man show doing a lot of stuff. We had a very good team, but as a nonprofit, we were very short staffed. I was able, young and vibrant, was able to do a lot of stuff, for them. So I still love that place still today. It was a great place. So that was my first love for botanical garden.
How many botanical gardens do you think there are nationwide in Parks and Rec? Any idea how many, of the, roughly 12,000 cities, are there like a couple hundred of them doing something?
Oh my gosh. There must have been hundreds. So yeah. I'm glad you asked that question. So one of in my vision board is to go to every botanical garden that we have in America. That's my vision board. So I've been on track to go to a few lately. So I'm hoping to keep going to all of them. So, so far I've been to Maine Botanical Garden, Coastal Maine. That's really nice. I went to Longwood Botanical Garden, Toledo, of course, Cincinnati Botanical Garden. I've been to that one. I've been to a few more, but my list will keep going and going and going. So that's my plan. I'm done to ask that question. So you light the fire under me right now to keep going.
We'll put New Orleans on that list. We have a beautiful botanical garden in City Park, and it's our kind of flagship park, and they have a gorgeous botanical garden. It's amazing, and I don't even know what I'm looking at, but it looks gorgeous. exotic plants and flowers, and even have like fish and stuff in there. They do a great
I'll add
job.
that to my list. You never know. You might see me in your neighborhood one day.
Yes, tell me when you're coming down there, and I'll host you. Okay, so then
Will do.
when you left,
Sounds good.
let's continue with the rest of your journey. So you went to your internship. What did that internship look like?
It was eye-opening because coming from Haiti, I'm not exposed to all those high tech and whatnot. So it was eye-opening. I've learned a lot. Interacting with the volunteers and the staff. They were very patient with me and teach me the way, how to farm, how to cultivate, how to go around, the whole technique, behind closed door. Even the greenhouse staff were very nice to me. Then from there, I had another internship. So because I went to the Ohio State University, I don't want to, get people mad. So I went to the Ohio State University. Yep. So where I expand my knowledge in agriculture and horticulture as well. So I was able to go to Metrolina greenhouses in North Carolina. So where I interned for a year and a half, for 2 years. I interned, then I worked there for a couple of years. I think that's still the largest greenhouse in North America under one roof. It's
Wow.
beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful. They go everything. I mean, whatever you need, it's gonna be there. It's a beautiful greenhouse, well run by a family. I mean, it's overall great people to work for. I mean, I love that place.
Yeah.
Then from there, I make my way back to Ohio again, where I did go back to that botanical garden and work for them for about 2 or 3 years before I moved to Boston.
And what were some of the things that you were learning in those 2 internships?
It's more about how you can go from seeds all the way, from seed to germination all the way to finished plant. Right. So the technique is not just grow plant and then use fertilizer however you want to. There's a standard that we had to meet. Metrolina was very strict because the customer or the market have that expectation. The plant has to be a certain way, certain size. The foliage have to be a certain color, right? So you can be overfeeding, you can be over watering. So it's one of the most resilient plant we have in the market. I remember my mom went there one year. She bought a geranium from Mitchell Greenhouse back in North Carolina. I mean, till today, probably like 15, 20 years later, she still had that same geranium and still blooming. So, they put care and attention into growing those plants. Nowadays you have people that just feed everything and then the plant die one summer later on. It's just die, it's gone. But we worry about the root system. That's the anchor of the plant. So you have the root system that well taken, well grown, then you don't have to worry about anything else. So I mean, that was beautiful. I mean, if anybody in the greenhouse, you have to know about Michelin greenhouse. If you haven't, you have to go pay them a visit because they're wonderful. Yeah. They're wonderful.
Okay, so finishing your internship, what's your next move after that?
My next move, I ended up moving to Boston because, I met my then girlfriend. She lived in Boston, so I ended up moving to Boston.
That's how it always goes. The girls take you back home.
Exactly. They always drag you out, right?
Right.
That was a good move because from Ohio, nothing bad about Toledo. I mean, we're a great city, but the market from Toledo to Boston is different. It's like day and night. We have a lot of you can venture out here in Boston. You learn a lot. So I was able to go to a landscape company where I was the foreman for 2 years. It was a very high-end residential landscape. So I learned, the art of designing, drawing people in with my design and whatnot. So then from there, I ended up in Boston. So where I was the executive assistant of horticulture. So I overseen the greenhouse, the maintenance part of it and the beautification of the city. One of my biggest things, like I mentioned, is to eradicate green gentrification. So I wanted to be able, the city can produce more vibrant landscape throughout, regardless of your zip code. That's always been my goal. I don't care if you live in a poor neighborhood or undeserved neighborhood or whatnot, people call it. I want you to have the same access to our plants and to our parks the same standard of service and maintenance, if we can provide that to you, to have that. So you belong to the city should work for you. And that's what I believe in. So I've been in Boston for 13 years now in 3 different positions so far.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was your first job like in, or maybe bring us through your first few years in the Boston and what's that journey look like?
Ah man, my first few years from private sector to serving the people of Boston was it's eye-opening because I mean I come from the private sector. We just push. We expect certain things to be the way they're supposed to be. And it's still the same thing here for Boston. But I had to readjust myself, and the expectations sometimes may not be what I want it to be, and then be more patient with the people that work under me or that report to me, and understand that we work for the people of Boston. The constituent, the citizen, they have a say so, right? You might have a plan to go here, but you get a phone call, you got to go somewhere else, right? So it's always like, okay, what do I do? You have to juggle a million things at a time. So it was different, but it was a good experience. It's still a good experience because I'm still here working for the city. I enjoy it. One of my biggest things is if my kids go to a park, they say, "Oh, my daddy works in that park." That gives me a sense of pride, right?
Yeah.
It's because I'm giving to something that is bigger than me, which that's the way I see it. I'm serving the people of Boston in my position, and I want them to go to a park where your kids, the park can be safe. It will be safe, and we have a standard that we want to keep, where you don't have to worry about your trash barrel. It will be emptied. It's always busy here. We have over 300 parks in open space. It's busy.
Wow.
There's events every single weekend. Whether they permit or non-permitted, it's everywhere. So cookout, festivals, you name it. We are a very diverse city, and we want people to, when you come here, you know that you belong and this is your city.
Yeah, fantastic. So how long was the botanical garden in operation before you got there?
It was in a good condition, right? Because coming from Haiti, I have my own background of creating a diverse landscape, bring that new flavor. I was not afraid, to bring some new plants into the landscape where I want to engage people in my design. So that's what I always try to do as an artist. I like to create a place where we can have a discussion, or I would like to provoke some people to like, what on earth were you thinking when you planned this? And I would love to get engaged with people. So that's what happened. I during the winter, I grew a lot of the plants that I wanted to introduce in the Boston Public Garden back in 2014. Yeah, back in 2014, I took over designing the Boston Public Garden. So a year later, it was the talk of the city. A year later, back in 2015, July 2015, so I got a call from the Boston Globe, being featured on the front page of the Globe for my design. I'm like, well, well, thank you. But it was a team accomplishment. Yes, the vision was there, but I wanted to gauge people to have a bigger conversation, because one thing that I noticed is you can bring people in on your design from different background, wherever they come from, right? Because one of the biggest compliment I received was a young lady, say, "I have that plant back home, so you remind me of home when I see this plant." I'm like, so there's a connection there's a connection there. So because if you can connect through plants or through nature, then I think we're doing our job, right?
Yeah.
People, again, there's a sense of belonging. This is my home. I belong. There's a piece of that remind me from home. Then I've done my job.
Yeah. Now, what were the things that kind of made your botanical garden kind of stand out among others that got you that kind of notoriety?
I mean, it stood out because we have a lot of paths that connect to each other. So the connectivity is very important. And again, be able to navigate this side also is very important. And I mirror. My landscape is like mirror from one side to the other side. So which means if you're in the middle of the path, whether you're looking at the plant on the bed on your left or the one on your right, it's gonna be the same design, right? So there's a mirror type of reflection going on, and also there's that contrast. I go bold. I'm very bold and very expressive in my design, right? I go for the height. I go for the width. I go for everything. I go for the foliage, to connect together. So I don't design for right now. I design for like 2 or 3 months, down the line. So when everything come together. So I want you to see everything in my design. Nothing is mute. Everything is spoken for. Everything is well represented. So people see it because your eyes will be drawn to what you see. And I want the landscape to be very attractive. So you can navigate the site with your eyes and everything. There should be like the wow factor. So I go for the wow factor in the landscape, right? And the maintenance team, they do a pretty good job. The edge, they make sure the edge is done, the weeding is done, the grass is cut to a very good length. So people can enjoy everything at the same time. So it's a complete landscape that kind of draw you in. So it's one of the most places that they visit in Boston, the Boston Public Garden. We have like 100,000 of visitors every year, visiting the landscape because it's beautiful. I mean, even me, I went there over the weekend. I started snapping some pictures. Even though I don't physically design anymore because after 5 years, 6 years, I retired from designing it. So, but I still oversee, the whole production of it from the greenhouse. I talk to the staff every day. I give them, input of what I would love to see because being from the third party, I'm like, this is what people would love to see. And also being in charge of the horticulture department, this is what I would love to see in our design because people would love to see that. It draw people in as well.
Yeah. I love how you stated that it's an art form. And I don't think a lot of people view it that way. They think art is maybe painting or pottery or something like that. But maybe can you describe it a little bit more of how it's your art form and how you kind of paint with plants and nature?
Oh yeah, I would love to because that's one of my things because I say we all start with a blank canvas, right? It's all blank. And my decision to put what I put in where I put it, it's a reflection of the built environment because I want it to belong. I want it to speak volume, right? I want it to stand out. So I look around. So what do we have around that bed that can speak volume? And it's allowing me to pick the right color and the right plant for the right spot. So it's again, it's a way to navigate because I don't want to put my biggest plant, in the front and black everything out. So like the artists with with the stroke and how they do it, I want them to have a sense of like, oh, somebody put a thought into this, and it's well planned out.
Right.
So I start planning out my design from fall for next year. Right. So I go every day and take note like, okay, this was good. This not too good. What can I do to adjust that? Because again, if somebody doesn't know anything about landscape, they can put everything everywhere. It doesn't work like that. So as an artist myself, I take my time to make sure I am drawing my plants as I plant them. So you can have a beautiful fusion and a great reflection for people to see it. And it's funny you mentioned about when people paint, we do have those in the public garden. I see them every day. They have the setup. They're looking at the landscape. They're looking at the bed. They're like, ooh, all the stroke. I'm like, that's beautiful. I love seeing stuff like that. So again, I see myself as an artist because it's my piece of art that I'm presenting to the people that's going to see it and navigate the site. So when I look at landscape, I don't look at it like, oh, just flowers. I look at every single part of it. So what's going on here? What were you thinking when you put that in here? What was going on through your mind? What story are you trying to tell through your landscape? Because it's not mute. People think it's just plants. No, it's not plants only. It's just like, I'm trying to say something. I'm trying to communicate something. So what is the message? Is it clear? Is it precise? Or is it like it's been lost in translation? So in my creation, everything is spoken for and everything is well represented. And at a certain time, certain place, and certain environment. So that's what I meant by, being an artist. I love that question. That was
cool. I love how you said, what story are you trying to tell? What comes to mind when you think of that? What story are we trying to tell with this part of the garden?
What's come to mind, I remember I was interviewed by WBUR about why did you choose that type of plant you chose? I chose an elephant ears, which remind me of growing up back in Haiti. So I know when me and my dad, we were planting rice in the rice field, and then I don't have any cup I don't have any cup for the water. I'm like, I use that leaf and fold it, and I can get water, allow me to drink the water, right?
Wow.
So when I put that in the landscape here, people will say, "Oh, why do you do that?" There's the story behind it, because that connected me back home as a little boy growing up. I didn't have the cup to drink the water in my field with my dad. I use the leaf of that plant. It's huge, it's beautiful, it's grandiose. I use it, fold it, and I can drink the water, right? I can carry the water from one spot. Hey, Dad, here's some water. You thirsty, right?
Right.
So that's the connection I draw from that. A lot of those plants that I was able to put in my design, again, they were like some personal connection that I have with those plants. If I go to Haiti, I see a plant that I really want, I'm coming here to look for it. How can we get this plant here in this landscape? I love exotic plants, like plants that you don't imagine that you will see here in Boston. I would love to introduce those in Boston, right? So that's my active effort to make sure that the landscape is very diverse. Because the way I see it, we have a diverse city. We have a diverse, country. America is diverse. It's like a melting pot, right? So how can we create our landscape to represent that diversity that we have wherever you are? Louisiana, I'm in Boston, Pennsylvania. So how we create that diversity through our landscape. So that's always been my goal when I design.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to take a quick break, but I'd like you to think about during the break how you bring your community into your garden, whether through programming or internships. Obviously, your staff is immersed in it, but maybe you can tell us about how your community comes into your garden, how they participate in it. But I want to play a promotion for our facilities maintenance show, which is a lot of your staff. So we have a show dedicated to the maintenance professionals for Parks and Rec. We'll play that, and then we'll come right back.
All right.
Behind every thriving park, every safe playground, every event-ready field, there's a team working before sunrise and long after sunset. This is Facility Maintenance, the only show created for and by the unsung heroes of Parks and Recreation. Brought to you by DPRS Media Co., where real work gets real recognition. From restrooms to rec centers, HVAC to turf tech, we go beyond the job site into the heart of operations that keep our communities moving. Our mission? To elevate maintenance teams through stories, solutions, and shared experience. Our vision? A world where every facility crew is seen, valued, and fully supported. Each episode features operators, innovators, and leaders, sharing tools, tech, and tactics that make the impossible look easy. Facility maintenance isn't just a job, it's purpose, it's passion, and now it's a show. Facility Maintenance, where tools meet purpose, where work becomes legacy.
All right. So shout out to all those people that are working hard to maintain all these green spaces. Let's start with there. How does this affect your staff? What do they? I'm assuming they really enjoy working under you, working on all the green spaces and stuff. But tell us a little bit about them.
I think it's probably one of the most probably people don't pay close attention to maintenance. And it's one thing that you can invest millions of dollars in a park, right? You come and cut the ribbon. Oh, your park's opening. But the backbone of the parks, the people that run it is maintenance staff. And I don't think we thank them enough for the work that they're doing, right? I mean, just this weekend, I came in early this morning to work at 6 a.m. We had a huge basketball game in one of our park. The trash is just crazy all over the place, right? And then that's those people, even though we are understaffed, that's one thing I think we need to express. Being understaffed sometimes is make it very challenging to maintain those green space. And if you go to a park, you see somebody cutting the grass, they're picking up the trash, tell them thank you. Because they don't find that enough. They don't hear it enough, right? You will hear most of the time, "Oh, you're not doing this, you're not doing that." But I'm telling you right now, being for maintenance myself, I cut, I trim, I've done everything, even as a general superintendent. You will see me in one of those parks with my paper pick and then a trash bag, I'm cleaning. Because I love to participate in what my guys doing. I don't want to sit on the side or you're the boss. No. I want to be with you and the team and do the work. They are valuable, part to our team. There is no parks department without the maintenance division. Like I said, Greg, I don't care how much you spend in the park, 10 million, 100 million of dollars. You have to have a maintenance plan. And I will straight that out to anybody. This is a big stretch to anybody. You have to build a maintenance plan and a maintenance team that can take care of those, whatever you're trying to introduce, whether it's a green infrastructure, whether it's native plant, whether it's invasive removal, whatever you're trying to do to maintain that space for people to enjoy, maintenance team is key, and they are the backbone to the department.
Yeah, and even though it may take, like you said, 10, 50, 100 million, a year of planning, a year of building, but you've got 100 years of maintenance that park will be there, that has to be maintained. And so if you don't have that vision of we're doing stuff, we're planting things that are going to be here for a century, then you're missing out on the largest investment, which is maintaining that facility.
Yeah, that's true. And listen, I'm lucky and blessed and fortunate to have a good maintenance team here in Boston. I have some great men and women. They take the work with heart, and they are very passionate. So one of the greatest thing is, they live in the city. The kids go to those parks, and they go to those parks after work. They say, hey, this is my parks. I grew up in those parks, and I'm gonna make sure that I take care of this park, not just for myself, but for my kids and my grandkids. That's one of the biggest stories that I've heard, in my time here in Boston. People, they don't want to leave. They say, hey, I'm not leaving. Because why don't you want to leave and go make more money? But because my kids go to this park. If I don't clean it, I don't believe anybody else will clean it. So, that's amazing to hear that. And I think we ought to do, to applaud those people and elevate them, and give them the flowers while we can, because they're doing a fantastic job.
Yeah. All right. So how do y'all have an internship program that brings college kids or people looking to get into this industry at all?
So for a long time, in the first time, we have 2 interns right now working with us in our fleet management system. So they're in the garage, honing on the skills before they go back to school again. But for our maintenance and horticulture division, because of the union, we have a union system. It will be very hard to bring some interns. But like for the admin staff, we do have co-ops. So students from Northeastern University, from Boston College or the university, they come to do some co-ops here. But not so much as internships. City Hall have some internship opportunity for the kids. But here in the maintenance division and horticulture and trade, because it can be very tricky for safety wise.
Right.
So we don't have any internship, but we do have friends groups. Friends groups and nonprofit organizations that we work with, like the Friends of the Public Garden. They are wonderful partners with us. So, they help us take care of the Boston Public Garden, Boston Common, and then Commonwealth Mall. We have Nicholas Conservancy. They are a very good organization that work with us, to keep Lower Olmsted vision alive in our Franklin Park, and Back Bay and Nicholas. So they're wonderful group. We have Friends of Christopher Columbus. We do have a ton of friends group. So we do encourage people in the parks, because we say, this is your park, right? This is your park in your neighborhood. So if you can organize a friends group, we'll meet with you and work with you, and what you can do, what you cannot do, and then to make sure we take care of those parks for those kids to enjoy.
Yeah. Now, do y'all have anything as far as programming to get involved in the garden or plant or show kids how to raise, edible plants and stuff like that?
Oh, we do. Sometimes we do have schools that come to the greenhouse. So we'll give them a tour, and a little, our greenhouse superintendent, which is Tony Hennessy, will work with the kids and teach them about plants and flowers and whatnot. So that's a great way to get them involved. We do have stuff like that. We do have, kids come in and just, educational things with them. We do have a ranger program. We do have a few beautiful horses here. So the kids will come in and do little cleaning and, interact with the horses and whatnot. So it's been great. So we're very, alive or interactive city. We do have the recreation program. It's huge over here, whether it's yoga, fitness in the park, whether it's movie in the parks, whether it's jazz. I mean, every weekend there's something going on. I mean, the summer is busy and booming in the city, right? So there's a programming system which I'm not, directly involved in, but I know the people that's involved in those. I mean, we do have, program for the kids, what is golf for the kids. And, during the summer, we have summer programming in all of the parks and keep them busy. So, which is great. So we are very, very active here.
I love it. Yeah, I love to hear all that. Now, I wanted to give you a chance on speaking on employee retention. You said you had given a talk on that. So what do you have to say to the world of Parks and Rec about how to keep your employees?
First of all, is to value them. I mean, sometimes that's what they're looking for, right? Yeah, the money is important. I know, sometimes we're not paid well enough, but rather than the money, I think the survey would say they want to belong. They want their voices to be heard. They want you to say, hey, I value you. I see you and you're doing a great job. And again, open the door for them, right? If you're doing a project, Greg, allow them to be part of it. Because they do have opinion too. And they in the parks every day. They know what's work, what doesn't work. Value them. Say, hey, I know you've been here for about 20, 30 years. Can I talk to you for a second? What do you think about this, right? What do you think about that? Make them feel like they belong, because they belong, right? They're taking care of those parks. And open some training for them, right? The grill industry is evolving every day. There's new things every day that's happening. Maybe send them to a seminar, or there's a conference that's happening here. There's a class that's taking place over there. Maybe allow them to attend some seminars, some classes, so they can be better for themselves. Not only, for the job, but for themselves, make them feel valuable. So I think, I gave that talk a couple of years ago in New Hampshire Landscape Association, and they were very interested. I'm like, yeah, because they're also human beings, even though, they're doing the maintenance work, but they are very smart people and they can contribute a lot to the development and the betterment of the department. So allow them to be in and their voices to be heard. Let them know you're doing a good job, man, great job. I see you, you hustle, man, I like that. They go above and beyond. Let them know, hey, you go above and beyond. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yes, it's not just about the paycheck, but it's about how you build them, inside, and you bring the morale up, right? So that's why here in Boston, we have people that have been here for 40 years in our parks, right? People 30 years, 40 years, and they're still here, they're working. People, crazy thing, people retired and they want to come back. I have 2 employees call me, hey, Josh, I gotta come back, man. I missed the job. I gotta come back, right? Again, it's not about the money. It's about how you make people feel, how you talk to them when you see them. Personal level. Hey, how you doing? How's your family doing? I heard your kid was sick. How's your kids doing? And I told my employee, family first, right? It's family first. Because if they're not good at home, don't think they come in here and give you 100%. And when they come here, you make them feel like they're not all day as a human being. They're not going to. Hey, there's overtime. No, I don't know. I don't want your overtime. Can you stay late for 1 hour? No, I can't stay late. But when you make them feel valuable, because they are valuable, when you make them feel like their voice is heard, then guess what? They will go above and beyond for you, because you make them feel important, because they are important.
Yeah.
So that's what I would love to say about employee retention, because make them feel that they belong, because they belong.
Yeah, and there really is so much more that a job offers to you than just a paycheck. And if it's only a paycheck, it really is a grind, especially if you're not enjoying your work. But there's other forms of compensation besides payment. And you can, like you said, a sense of belonging. You're beautifying your community. You're taking care of the community. You're leaving a legacy. And then there's a sense of pride around there. There's so many different levers that you can pull to really give something back to your employees, aside, in addition to the paycheck.
Exactly.
There's a lot more other things you can do. Okay, and now I wanted you to also talk about, you said you gave a speech on native plants and green spaces. Why is that important?
I noticed that our landscape been very degraded. Now, just full disclosure, I am not against, perennials or annuals. I'm not against none of that. So for those who's watching me right now, I love annuals, I love perennials, I love ornamentals and all that. But the way that our climate is changing, it's becoming more and more important to focus back on native plants. So I was lucky enough with my buddy Andrew. He's right now the director of horticulture for Coastal Maine Botanical Garden. I was lucky enough to be the designer, me and him, the designer for the Northeast region, working with Wild Ones, which focus on native plants and ecological restoration, environmental protection, and all that. So this native plant implementation, I think, is very important to the landscape because, again, native. Those plants, they are native to the landscape. Yes, once they establish, Greg, you're good to go. They boost the environmental part of it. They restore the ecosystem. Talking about ecological restoration, that's it right there for you. Native plants will do that to you. The control, erosion controlled, they do all that, right? So my thing is, with less disturbance to the soil structure, my thing is you can plant annuals, but every year you got to change that. So if you're talking people big on biodiversity, if you're talking about bringing up the biodiversity or whatnot, here we go. Native plant will do that to you. You have bird, butterfly, you have bees, which also beneficial to the urban landscape system, or also urban agriculture. If you're talking about agriculture, if you love honey, here we go. So again, that's one of my big push. Not to eradicate what we have right now, but to slowly implement, native into our parks. If we're trying to do green infrastructure facility, whether it's rain garden, bioretention, or whatever we're doing, how can we introduce native plants into the landscape? You can still have your perennials, which is beautiful, but how can we slowly do that? And again, in the fall, you can still leave it on. The birds will be happy. That's their food source in the habitat. So that's one of my biggest push right now.
Yeah.
And the plan is online. If you guys go to wildone.org, I believe, and / Northeast, or just type my name, Josh Altidor, Wild Ones. The plan will come up with all the plant palettes, all the design and everything.
Yeah. And it really is easier to maintain native plants. I had a guest on my show that started in Texas. They started planting on the highways, and a lot of the stuff they had to maintain, they started planting wildflowers. And now after a few years, they've got it to where they only have to cut it once a year versus, 30 or 40 times a year, because these wildflowers just maintain the landscape on their own. They really don't need much help. And I think native plants is kind of the same framework, is that if you plant something that's native to the area, isn't the maintenance much less on these?
Oh yeah, definitely. It is much less. Like you just mentioned, cut it once a year. It is much less. I mean, that's definitely buy you some time where you can focus your attention to do something else. But let's say you have my big goal is to have some meadows. I mean, if I, have the chance to do that, is to establish some meadows where you can just have a big space instead of worry about competing with invasive, or you can remove the invasive today and next month they just shoot back up again. So we're facing that problem here in Boston. You have Japanese knotweeds just growing all over the place. Like, geez, you can't get rid of it. But if you do get rid of it, right, the big good replacement would be native plants, because once they establish themselves, then you don't have to worry about that part. You don't have to worry about the weeding. They establish, you can cut it. If they go out of hand, you can cut it. And we do have some slope here in Boston in our parks. I would love to see some beautiful meadows and native plants in our slope, because you don't have to worry about cutting that, because there's no weeds. It's just flower. The birds foraging, the bees and whatnot, they take care of it. And then you can cut that once a year in the fall if you want to, or early in spring, you can cut that once a year. So I think this is a great replacement, not to worry about all those invasive that we have to deal with right nowadays, but you have the native plant that can be a good replacement, like you said, Greg, the native to the environment, so you don't have to worry about that too much.
Yeah.
So let's say we've got a park and rec director with a small community listening to everything you're saying. What's some good starting points for them to start implementing some of these, either start a botanical garden or just start planting native species? And let's say they're not doing any of this stuff. They're just cutting the grass for the baseball fields and that's it. What are some of the first steps that you would recommend?
The first step I would say is, sit down with your team and see what they need or what you need, what your vision is, right? Don't go crazy, just take little steps. You
Mhm.
probably get a small little parcel, just do like a pilot program. How would that look like? If you study your landscape, right? If you do have a low spot in what is your parks, and there's always water collection, collecting there, maybe nature is trying to tell you, hey, there's time for some bioretention or rain garden. Maybe you
Mm.
can do a small little rain gardens or start small. You don't have to go crazy, right? Because again, nothing is maintenance free. You still have to maintain it, the first couple of years to be even after the well established, you still have to do some pruning and some maintenance, whatnot. So don't go too crazy, but I would say, but don't stay idle either. Start something that can benefit to the environment.
Mm.
Talk to your staff and your team. If every year you're spending a ton of money and buying annuals every single year, maybe let's do a mix of annuals and native plants.
Mm.
Maybe let's do a mix of annuals and some, common perennials that you can find in your local nursery, right? Um, if you have to cut the grass every single time and place that you shouldn't even be cutting the grass,
Yep.
maybe it's time to do like a understory of wildflower, that can give you that more space and gap and time in your schedule to do something else that's more important and prioritize that task. So if you're a director, of parks, or you don't have the staff that you need, or you're short staff, like I'm short staff sometimes, and
Yep.
I'm still short staff. But make sure you prioritize your task, what's more important to you right now, and what is the people want to see. The constituent, they're very important. Hear their voices. What do they want to see in this park, or whatnot? Do they want to see the flowers? Or if your staff don't know how to maintain flowers, maybe as a director you can open a course for them, maybe like an hour or two, introducing them to the landscape. This is what we need to do. And you were talking about urban forestry earlier.
Mhm.
I mean, sometimes our staff, the lack of training, they kill our tree by mowing and trimming. They hit the bark of the tree, end up dead like in 4 or 5 years.
Mm.
Maybe let's do some tree circle, and then let's do some tree ring. Maybe let's do some mulching. So keep
Mm.
the mower blade away from those. I mean, there's little things that you can start doing, to implement and introduce that and open them to the world. Because again, it's not that hard. It will take planning and very consistency to do it. So once you start doing it, it becomes a second nature. Then you adapt that culture, and I think you're all set to go.
Yeah. Okay, so as we're coming close to the end of the show, I'd like you to answer a question that it comes from one of our previous guests, and I think this would be a good question for you. But if you had an unlimited budget to do something in a park system, one project, what would it be?
Oh man, one project and unlimited money. Oh man, I'd be a happy man. Uh, I want one project. I want to. I would love to see more green infrastructure in our parks today.
Mhm.
Um, I think that will allowed us and nature to coexist together. It's hard for one project, Greg. That's a tough question. It's really hard, man. But yeah, I would love to see our parks have focus more on implementing green infrastructure, because um storm water, it's a big threat, to our landscape now. Not just to the landscape, but to human life,
Mhm.
because we have to worry about frequent flood. And what are we doing? So how can we use our parks as a place to can store water, or as more like China have a sense of sponge city? How
Mhm.
can we use our park as a sponge system to protect our neighborhood? right? If we park close to a water, if we have a water body here and there's a park, there's a neighborhood, if there's a flood, God forbid, how can we use the park as a reservoir, right? In a sense, to protect the resident. So that will be one thing that I would love to see. How can we build that for not only the generation, but for the next generation, How can we protect the environment and leave that legacy? To say, okay, when my kids have kids and the kids have kids, they can still enjoy the investment that we make today.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know that's big in New Orleans. We have a flood probably about 10, 15 times a year. We get water everybody's got to park on high ground and stuff. And I've noticed they're starting to make their parks that can take a flood and can be a water reservoir and give our pumps a little more time and keep the water out of the neighborhoods and into the parks. I'm starting to see a lot more design like that. Of course, we flood regularly. We're getting kind of used to it. But park design is like you said, you just got to start with the end in mind and have a long vision, and the parks can really play an important role in that water mitigation.
Exactly.
Now,
That was a good question. You got me with that one. That was a good question.
All right. Now, I wanted you to tell me a little bit about how's y'all's association over there in Massachusetts? Do you attend regularly?
You know what? That's something I need to make time for, Greg. I'm ashamed to say I haven't been out with that much because once I get home, I'm beat.
I bet.
But I do try to give at least one or two talks a year if I do have the chance to. I'm still trying to be very active on social media. I'm an advocate for the green industry. I just don't want my job to just be with the city of Boston because I know there's a lot more I can offer to the community and the people who's watching, who's following me. And I try to post some content here and there just to strike their attention. Hey, this is what we can do. This we can do that. I need to get more involved.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say. I need to get more involved in the green industry because I know there's a lot I can offer out there. But I'm involved with Philadelphia Horticulture Society. So I'm part of the committee for the landscape and botanical garden. So I do sometimes weigh in and give my input in that one as well. I'm also a board member for sustainable urban agriculture back in Haiti. So I try to weigh in and try to give my opinion from time to time.
Yeah,
gotta lead the people back in Haiti so they can create that sustainable urban agriculture that they do want to eradicate hunger in Haiti.
Can you describe what sustainable agriculture is for those of you not familiar with that terminology?
Yeah, it's plain and simple. It's you create a system that can sustain itself, whether you here or not. It can take care of itself. So sustainable, it's how can I create something for the next 5-10 years that will still be there, okay, and still working and thriving. So now what we do right now is we create we have a short memory system. We like a microwave type of society. Oh, we put the thing in the microwave for 5 seconds. It's done. I eat it. Okay, now I have to look for something else to do. But if we do that sustainable system, when it's in Haiti, it's how can I get food from that same tree for the next 15-20 years? How can I do, if I have one mango tree, how can I graft 10 different variety of mango on that same mango tree? Then I don't have to plant 10 different mango tree, right, throughout my parks or throughout my farm. How can I do? Because we have citrus greenery in Haiti right now, which is a threat to the lemon or lime. But we do have a variety that's very resistant. How can I graft that variety into the other variety to eradicate that citrus greenery that we have in Haiti right now? So moringa is very big in Haiti. With moringa, you can get the leaves. It's a legume. You can eat it. You can do the powder. There's multiple things you can do with moringa. So how can I use that one moringa tree to have different product out of it? So when I say sustainable is how can I maximize my resources with little thing, right? Let's say I don't have to have a ton of trees in my garden or in my farm, but how can I maximize that 10 tree to feed the whole population? So that's what I mean by sustainable. And it will take care of itself pretty much. If I'm not around for a day or two, I don't have to worry about that because I have a system in place that can sustain the demand and everything that needs to be done.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Okay. So last question. If you're sitting in front of a classroom of college students or high school students that are undecided of what they want to do with the rest of their life, what is your sales pitch or testimony to the Parks and Rec industry to kind of persuade them to consider Parks and Rec as something they might want to dedicate their life to?
Whew, man, that's a good question. What I will tell them is to go back from the beginning of time, because we were born here on this earth. That's the first thing we step our feet in, is that earth. We get food from the earth. And how can we make sure we're taking care of what we have right now that can sustain our life for the next 15, 20 years, as long as we live here? So I will tell them, the air that you breathe right now, we need trees for that. We need trees to purify the air, because then otherwise, man, we're screwed. You have air pollution all over the place. We're talking about climate change. We're talking about sea level rise. We're talking about urban heat island, right? You're talking about your life expectancy can vary depending on your neighborhood. If you live in a place where there's greenery, there's trees, you tend to be happier. Your mood tend to be a little bit less grumpy, right? And your life expectancy, tend to be a little bit higher by a couple more years than people that live in a place there's no trees, there's no greenery, there's nothing. So my pitch will be to you: what would you like to contribute in this society? How would you like to be remembered for? For somebody who extend people's life, or somebody who just, let me add to it. Let me cut more trees. Let me destroy it. Let me destroy that. Right? I don't want to do like the guilt trip, but more like a little guilt trip, like because you are our future and you are valuable and we rely on you. And I do sit with students from time to time, from Northeastern University or for Boston College that interview me from time to time, even from Harvard University. They want to know about the green industry. How do we maintain our space? What does that mean for the next generation? And it's my honor to talk to them, to say, listen, you are the next leader, because I'm on my way. I'm 40-something. I'm on my way out, whatever. But I'm doing what I can do right now. But if I can use your voice and 10 other voices, I think we can make a bigger impact on the society, and then hopefully we can change course. I know we're not going to change everything overnight, but how can we live together in a place that can contribute to the betterment of the environment, and we create our ecosystem that works for us, right? Not only we're not only taking, but what can we give back? Right. The symbol at your house, you take the food scrap, you could have put it in the trash, but you know what? That can be an organic matter back to the soil, right? To feed the soil, and then you have that beautiful microorganism activities. And then when you plant your vegetable garden, that's a different taste. Yeah. You can use all the chemical you want. You can use all the fertilizer you want. But when you eat something that's organic, that you grow, that's different. It tastes different and it feels different. So how can you contribute to the bigger, system that we have as a society, as young people trying to start in your career right now?
Yeah, I love it. Wow, what a great testimony. Well, Josh, thank you so much for coming on the show today. You're making me want to start a weekly or monthly show just on the green industry and urban forestry and botanical garden. I see that's where this is heading by the end of the year. I may be asking you to help me co-create something like that, because it's such a part of what we do in Parks and Rec.
Yep. I'm here, Greg. Anytime you need me, man. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I know you're doing great things, and thank you for having me, and thank you for reaching out. I don't know how you guys found me, but you guys found me. It's been great talking to you. Thank you so much, Greg, for everything.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on the show today, and have a great rest of your week.
Yes, sir. You too. Have a good one.
Take care.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Another great episode. What a master gardener, master of everything green. He's kind of one of our pioneers here in the Parks and Rec industry that's really lifting up the green industry. And I mean, parks are squarely in the green industry, especially our green spaces where we have all of our trees and our common spaces. I know a lot of times people think Parks and Rec, we sometimes might just think about a community center or about a playground or about a little baseball league. But a big chunk of what Parks and Rec does is just green spaces, beautiful green spaces that you can walk through and just kind of get out in the middle of your city and be immersed in nature. And he has just done this so well. So I was really excited to have him on the show. And I can absolutely see before too long, we're going to be doing a weekly and a monthly show, finding gentlemen just like him throughout the country to come say exactly what he said about what they're doing in their city. And of course, Boston is such a great example of doing it well and doing it right. And his botanical garden was award winning. So if you ever get a chance to go by Boston, make sure you swing by their botanical garden, say hello to Josh, and hopefully I can get him down in New Orleans to see our botanical garden and knock that one off his bucket list. So, all right. So we have an exciting week coming up. I also have a growing list of people that I am interviewing. We are up to 26 interviews at NRPA with people. We're just going to do like 15 to 20-minute interviews. A lot of former guests that have come on the show that are attending NRPA. And so we'll be interviewing people from 9 in the morning till about 3 or 4 in the evening. Some of them go a little bit later than that on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So I may end up doing like 30 or 40 interviews. Hopefully I'll need lots of caffeine to do all that. But I'll be publicizing, I'll be making that list public so you can kind of see who's going to be there. Hopefully you've got your tickets and your hotel rooms to attend NRPA. That's coming up in just a few short weeks in Orlando. If you haven't attended and you're just an intern, especially if you're close by, you really got to go by NRPA. They do a great job in that annual event with vendors and speakers like Josh that come and just gave great testimony. Plus you get to meet the people of Parks and Rec. The whole nation really shows up, and it's just such a solid event. I've been to it multiple times. Can't say enough about it. So shout out to everyone at NRPA that works tirelessly to put that event on. It is a heavy lift, but they do a great job. And this year it's going to be in Orlando. So hopefully if you attend, we are going to do a little get-together event that Tuesday. So first day, 4 to 6, we're just going to do a little social where you can come meet me, meet a couple other people that are working with the Daily Parks and Rec show. So if you see us, just stop by, say hello. I'd love to meet everybody in person, even if you're camera shy and aren't going to come up on stage and give us a little testimony about you and your city and the industry. You don't have to get on camera. You can just come by and say hello. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, so we'll go ahead and close the show out. This is our happy Labor Day. So most of you are at home, hopefully barbecuing, having fun with friends and family. So wish everybody a happy Labor Day. And I will see y'all here again tomorrow. We have a great lineup for the whole rest of the week. This is Craig LeBlanc signing off with the Daily Parks and Rec Show. We'll see y'all here again tomorrow. Love you guys. Bye.
Are you a vendor, brand, or service provider ready to connect with the heartbeat of local communities? At DPR's Media Co., we tell the stories shaping parks and recreation across America. Through podcasts, live streams, videos, and newsletters, we reach frontline leaders, city directors, and decision makers every single week. From youth sports and facilities to programming and policy, our audience is your audience. Sponsoring or partnering with DPRS Media Co. puts your brand in front of the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. Launching a new product, growing your presence in public spaces, targeting cities, counties, or departments, DPRS is your trusted media partner. Whether you're in software, turf, aquatics, robotics, smart cities, or special events, partnering with DPRS puts your brand in the story. With commercials, interviews, social campaigns, newsletters, and live shows, we're your media team. Partner with us and grow your impact in the $200 billion parks and rec industry. DPRS Media Co., Stories that move Parks and Rec forward. Your audience is here. Let's meet them.